Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Destination Next, a series of programs in which we will explore new and exciting places around the Greater Toronto area. I'm your host Bilal Tahir, but I'm not the only one on this exciting journey. With me I have my fellow explorers.
And you are watching Destination Next.
A new destination, what fascination. We'll go exploring a new creation. See to feel Earth, travel around the world. See to feel Earth, travel around the world. So here we go, a new destination. Some inspiration, a little agitation, more complication. We'll push our minds for some formulation. We'll go exploring a new destination. Destination Next.
In this show, us kids will travel on the GTA to learn about the environment that surrounds us. Exploring is promoted in the Jamaat because in the Holy Quran, Allah had laid great emphasis on traveling.
Say, travel in the earth and see how He originated the creation. Then will Allah provide the latter creation. Surely Allah has power over all things.
Today we have traveled to Toronto, Ontario to visit the Royal Ontario Museum. It is 35 kilometers away from the Beit Salam Mosque and a 40-minute drive. Well, I'm super excited to learn about all the cool exhibits. Come on, let's go inside and explore.
Wow, there's so many cool exhibits to explore. I think we should start by learning a little more about Canada's history.
Yeah, the First Nation. Wow, is it really gold?
Yes, it is. That's a gold ceiling. Hi, I'm David. I'm with the Royal Ontario Museum. Did you know that this ceiling was built in 1933 with over 1 million pieces of Venetian glass?
See, I told you it was gold. And yes, thank you.
Well, I'll be around, so if you have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask, okay? Enjoy your visit.
Thank you. It's cool. Yeah, like I was saying, let's go check out the First Nations exhibits.
So, who exactly were the First Nations people?
The First Nations, also known as Aboriginal, were the first caretakers of Canada.
Indigenous peoples, or the people who were on this land first, before the arrival of Europeans. They speak 50 distinct languages and are located all across Canada in the present day. They live on and off reserves, which is a land set aside for the Indigenous people.
Word of the day.
Wow, look at those long boats.
Those are actually called canoes. They were used by the First Nations for traveling and have a long history in Canada.
First Nations usually like living near lakes and streams because there are more wildlife and fish in those areas. For food, all First Nations across the country enjoy hunting, fishing, and gathering plants. The plants can be used for both medicinal and nutritional purposes. When the Europeans later came to the First Nations territories, both groups had a lot to learn and trade with one another. The First Nations educated the Europeans of their beliefs and way of life, and the Europeans taught the First Nations what they believed and how they lived. Being the first on this land, First Nations, Indigenous peoples, and Aboriginals have a very big role in the making of present-day Canada. O mankind, we have created you from a male and a female, and we have made you into tribes and sub-tribes that you may recognize one another. Verily, the most honorable among you, in the sight of Allah, is he who is the most righteous among you. Surely, Allah is all-knowing, all-aware.
We saw an amazing headgear made out of feathers. We learned that the headdress is a well-known symbol of strength and bravery in Native American culture. A single feather would be added for each instance that a chief, warrior, or other influential tribe member committed an act of bravery. This fellow was certainly a very brave one.
Wow, a gun, an Indian pipe too. I wonder what that is.
Oh, I think that's from hunting.
Yeah, probably, because First Nations are really nice to each other.
Are those spoons?
Or maybe they're just ladles, just hand designed.
This is spoon. Oh wait, look at that rattle.
Yeah, I wonder how those sound. Or maybe they use them for maracas.
Maybe. That was an interesting exhibition.
Yeah, a nice blast from the past. Well, where should we go next?
Let's go check out the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Now this is what I've been waiting for.
Wow, that's such a big dinosaur.
Yes, that's a Photolongosaurus.
This is not the biggest dinosaur here.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, Willow, how old are you?
I'm not as old as these guys.
Ha ha, very funny.
Dinosaurs existed in the Mesozoic era, which was about 250 million years ago.
The Mesozoic era had 3 parts: the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous periods.
In the Triassic period, there was an explosion of reptiles. Near the end of this period, dinosaurs evolved. The first dinosaurs were all actually quite small in size, unlike the dinosaurs that came later on.
The Jurassic period was a period where the dinosaurs thrived and became the dominant form of animal life on Earth. During this and the next period, the size of dinosaurs grew tremendously large. Many different types of dinosaurs evolved during this time, like the Stegosaurus.
It smells like a dove. It's like, quack, quack, I'm coming to eat you. Oh wait, is so we have
The dinosaur bones, or fossils, were placed behind glass or far away so they could be protected. Bahram also gave an amazing opportunity to feel what the leather-textured skin of the dinosaurs must have felt like. Bilal and I were most excited to touch it.
Oh look! Wait. Yeah, I think this dinosaur is that one.
We can figure out why they have such long pads.
Wow, what a long neck.
Yeah.
So long. It's probably... Actually, the tail is longer than the neck.
Yeah, but can you believe it? A neck almost as long as a tail? That's amazing. I wonder if it's a herbivore only.
Yeah, I think that they have long necks to eat leaves off the trees.
Yeah.
They're really high.
But a tail that long? That's only a wonder.
In the Cretaceous period, the dinosaurs continued to dominate animal life on Earth. Just like the Jurassic period, in the Cretaceous period, different types of dinosaurs evolved, including the famous T-Rex. But by the end of this period, the dinosaurs met their end and became extinct.
Hey, I know this one. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes, you're right. Look at its sharp teeth.
And its sharp arms.
Where should we go next?
I think we should go to the Islamic history because it's really right there.
I wish we had someone help us out, learn more about these cool artifacts.
Yeah.
Hello!
Hi.
Welcome to the Worth Gallery of the Middle East at the ROM. My name is Dr. Famida Suleiman, and I'm the curator of Islamic art and culture here. Would you guys like to see some objects with me?
Yes, please.
Come on, let's go. So kids, the first thing that I want to show you is this wonderful case of objects, because I want to talk to you a little about the different elements of Islamic art.
I have a question.
What's that?
What's so unique about Islamic art?
That's a very good question, Bilal. So when Islam came, there were many forms of art that were already flourishing. For example, there was already geometric designs. There were already elements using flowers and vegetal motifs. And there was also a lot of figural representation. So you saw animals, you saw people. But the one unique thing that Islam brought was calligraphy, particularly Arabic calligraphy.
What did the upcoming of the Quran affect the development of languages? And what type of scripts was it written in anyway?
That's a really good question, talking about scripts and about the Quran. Now, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad, Arabic was an oral language, so people didn't really write it down. They only spoke it. This was during the even pre-Islamic times. But when the Quran was revealed, the Prophet realized the necessity of having things written down, and so did his companions. And that's when Arabic started to become a written language. So if you look at the objects here, for example, you'll find one of the earliest forms of Arabic script, which is Kufic script. And that's here on this very large marble slab.
So I have a question. Like, who did make the script anyway, like the writing?
So if you were to write at the time, you had to be an educated person and you had to be professional. You had to be a scribe. So people would ask scribes to do professional handwriting because it wasn't very common. And the other thing is, you know how Arabic, one letter, the shape of one letter is shared by so many letters. So for example, if you want to do a ba, you have to put a dot underneath. If you want to do a ta, you have to put 2 dots on top. So in the early period, there were no dots or dashes. So it was very difficult for people to be 100% sure what a word said. So over time, they even developed the idea of the diacritical marks, the dots and the dashes. So oftentimes, for example, on this marble slab, you won't see any dots or dashes, but only later on, for example, on this beautiful luster tile, you'll see the dots and you'll see the little vowel markings as well. So it became a lot easier to learn how to read the language.
Like hammers.
Oh, good question. These here are pen boxes. You know how we have pencil cases when we go to school? So these are pen boxes with little ink wells. So the kinds of pens that you would use there are reed pens. They're actually made of reed or bamboo, and you cut the nib and you make it very sharp. And then you would dip it inside that little box that's attached to it, which would have ink in it. Isn't that nice?
But doesn't mean like they would run out of ink soon though?
They would run out of ink. So they would have to replenish the ink as well. And in order not to make the ink all blurry on your page, they would take things like silk, strands of silk. They would put it in the ink well so that your pen didn't take up too much ink. And also sometimes they would sprinkle sand afterwards to dry up the ink. So there were many ways of writing during that time. This bowl here is really, really interesting. It's white and it has black calligraphy on it. What do you think this bowl was used for? Any thoughts?
Making ink.
Making ink? Anyone else? What do we use bowls for today in our kitchen?
To eat.
To eat! Okay, so this bowl was a special bowl, glazed, and it was a little bit more expensive than other bowls, but the writing on it is in Kufic, Arabic. It was made in Iran around the 10th century, and it says on it, eat from this bowl that which is nourishing. So eat healthy food from this bowl. Isn't that nice? So the Arabic language isn't just used for religious texts. It's used for secular texts as well. And over time, the Persian language was written with Arabic script. The Ottoman Turkish language was also written with Arabic script. Even the Malay languages were written with Arabic script. So Arabic became the dominant language that was used throughout the Islamic world as Islam spread.
That makes sense.
Okay, Nawal, Bilal, I have some questions for you because now you know so much about Islamic art. Point out to me the objects that have calligraphy on them in this case.
Oh, I know. Those three. That one, and that one.
Oh, great. And can you see the differences in the script?
Yeah. This one's more subtle, while those ones are
more sharp, like they have sharp, pointy ends. And this one is much more cursive or curly, right?
Also, that one too. That was really curly as well.
That's really nice too. Actually, that one reminds me. Who can point out geometry to me?
Me.
Go on, Bilal.
That one and that one.
Why do you think that's geometric?
Because they're like pretty interesting shapes combined in it.
That's really nice. Okay, so we talked about calligraphy, we talked about geometry. Somebody tell me about floral and vegetal decoration.
Floral, that I can do. Look at those beautiful flowers on that plate. It's amazing.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad you pointed that one out because I picked one of those to show you in storage later.
Really? I'm so excited for that.
And lastly, can anyone find any figural decoration for me in this case?
That one.
Well done. Bilal, what is that?
It's a figure of a lady who I think is playing a guitar.
Very good. So it's a musician, a female musician. Do you guys want to see a real musical instrument?
Yeah.
Do you want to be able to touch a real musical instrument?
Yeah.
Well, what are we waiting for? Yeah, come on, let's go. All right, let's go this way.
Next time on Destination Next.
Besides that, I've got all kinds of things here. I've got musical instruments, I've got paintings. You're looking at a really ancient doll made of camel bone, and you're looking at a doll that was made this year in Oman.
Jazakallah for watching. We hope that you liked our episode today. You can also get creative and share with us your pictures and drawings for a chance to win Destination Next souvenir. Also, tell us where you'd like to explore next on Twitter and Instagram at MTA Canada. We look forward to hearing from you.
A new destination, what fascination. We'll go exploring a new creation. See to feel art, travel around the world. See to feel art, travel around the world. So here we go, a new destination. Some inspiration, a little agitation, more complication. We'll push our minds for some formulation. We'll go exploring a new destination. Destination Next.